Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the Canadian MJ sector, and actually want to look at a US name here, the MBUDZ, just to see some action going on. But we've got action here on the weekly time frames. We'll start on the longer term perspective, look at a weekly, more swing trading perspective, and then we'll zoom in to the shorter term just in terms of what we're looking at for the rest of the week. So we did get a clear bull break on the weekly time frame for WED on the weekly equilibrium. And the S&P 500 made this bull break a little bit sooner, but it was a very clear break. This is what we've been waiting for a long time to give some clarity, and it has now broken. So the next major resistance is 34.71. If we can break that level, the odds of a new all-time high will significantly shift. So let's say just last week we're in this equilibrium pattern, and we have a certain amount of odds. I would say maybe a 55% due to the preceding action of the trend, the fact that SPY broke bullish already, maybe a 55% that WED is going to break bullish, maybe 60%. Again, it depends on each individual person. For me, I'll put it at 55%. The fact that we broke bullish from this equilibrium pattern shifts the odds that we're going to head back towards the all-time high rather than head down and break support levels significantly. So now maybe we're looking at a 70% chance. And again, these are just rough numbers that I'm pulling out of the air. But if we break this next resistance level, we're going to shift it again to maybe 80%, because again, it just is a hurdle. Every level is a hurdle the bulls have to get over to head back towards this all-time high. So this is a significant bull break on the longer-term weekly time frame. If we do consolidate on the weekly chart, anything above $27 will be a higher low now that we have broken the lower highs. And the bulls want to see some more volume follow through in a bullish MACD cross, again, to increase the confidence and increase the odds that we do head to all-time highs this year. Looking at the daily time frame for WED, we had the breakout to the upside, and fortunately for me personally, I entered the position, some of my position, before the break occurred on the weekly time frame. That's not something I normally do. There were a couple of reasons that I did that. Number one, if I'm going to go in heavy into a position, I'm not going to wait for the bull break to get in my entire position, because then again, I'm just chasing and market buying with everybody else. If I'm going in heavy, I want to use a partial order, maybe fill half of my position up while it's in the equilibrium, knowing where my stop loss level would be. I was going to use a daily stop loss level, either 29.50 or 28.76, but that allowed me to, again, benefit from this news coming out to lead to this gap up, and then I did enter further at the open on Monday. So there's definitely some different things to note here. We pulled back significantly, and we've had a bit of shifting going on in the market right now in the sector that is a little bit unusual. The first thing that we noticed yesterday, how many times have we seen WED close at the high of the day into strength? And the answer is a lot. But on the 5-minute time frame at the end of the day yesterday, very, very notable weakness, and it was clear someone was dumping. And if you were watching the bid and the ask and the market makers, there would, at the end of the day in the last 10 minutes, down at 32.30, the bulls would buy resistance, the ask would disappear and move to 30, 32, 34, and then instantly go back to 30, 30. There was someone unloading a decent amount of shares or shorting. I highly doubt it was shorting. I'm very confident that someone was unloading a significant amount of shares. You can see the volume increasing at the end of the day. How many times have we closed with 5-minute RSI oversold on WED? Factor in the fact that we just had very bullish news about the uplisting to the NYSE, which we've been waiting for, and the fact that we had a significantly strong day. So to see this happen, this is definitely an anomaly in terms of how the end of the day action went for WED. And it told me someone is unloading here. Now, whether there are definitely a handful of people that own shares from further back in the company's, deals that we've done in the past, it could be someone there. It could be an institution who wants to move around. I don't know. I was even brainstorming to myself and just thinking maybe it could even be, someone wanting to sell so that they could enter the NYSE US ticker and have their funds based in the US and be able to use stop losses with their brokers. And, it could be any one of these things. It's all just speculation, but it was notable at the end of the day. As far as we stand right now on the hourly time frame, we have an equilibrium forming that I'm watching, and it's the bulls did a good job of holding this low at the end of the day, where we had our low, the high of the bull move, the low of consolidation, and now we're looking for a lower high somewhere in the upper $32 range. Resistance is the high of today, 32.78, 33 psychological, and then 33.33. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the bulls maybe show up first thing tomorrow morning, top out maybe just under 33, and then consolidate into this hourly time frame more. Currently, I did take some position off the table today. I am in about a third of my position, and I've got another account that account is all in on WEED, and just going to let it ride a little bit longer term mindset. I am liking the fact that APH is breaking bullish because it does help the sector as a whole. The more bull breaks that we get on the weekly time frame, the more confidence we have in this sector for traders and investors. So we have the low, the high of the bull move. Always make sure your magnet's on. Higher low, and we broke bullish today. So we're on the verge of a weekly bull MACD cross if we can get continuation. We've got our shift in momentum. It's been lower highs and lower lows for the last bunch of months since the start of the year, essentially. And now we have a little higher low, and we broke the lower highs. So now when we do consolidate again on the weekly time frame, we'll look for another higher low to form and for the bulls to make their way back towards the recent highs. The daily time frame is on absolute fire. What stands out the most to me here is increasing bull volume. If you do not have a position in APH right now, now is not the time to be buying. The risk to reward does not favor continuation at this point because consolidation is more likely in the short term. Could we see another green day tomorrow? Absolutely. But I would absolutely be keeping an eye out for some profit taking as well, which would be healthy. Anything on the daily chart above 1090 is a higher low, keeping those bulls in full control. We do have some gaps to be watching. Who would have thought that APH would steal the show over the last few days with WEED getting that bullish news of being added to the NYSE? And why that news is so bullish is because you get the influx of US dollars into that ticker, which is going to help run the Canadian ticker as well. And we saw the same thing happen with Kron. I'm not sure it's going to happen to the same degree. Again, I don't expect the same initial move because, again, people know the reaction. They know the news is coming, most likely. And so a lot of people are buying in now. Obviously, again, there is going to be an influx of the U.S. money into the market, most likely to help the bulls a bit more. But my point is the fact that it's already happened means that the market has probably priced it in a little bit more significantly than Kron did. And also, I'm not sure if Kron gave us much of a heads up. I'd have to double check that. Let me know in the comments if you know that off your top of your head, whether Kron gave a heads up that it was coming a couple weeks down the line. So APH on the 4-hour RSI, and this is where we get into the extended levels. The RSI right now is at 78.5, and we scroll back historically. When's the RSI been at 78.5? Hasn't happened since the all-time high. So again, definitely getting overbought. The S&P 500 yesterday, the 4-hour RSI hit the highest point that it's been since the all-time high, and it pulled back today pretty significantly. Not saying APH is going to pull back, but that's just a real-life yesterday example of the same kind of scenario that we're seeing right now on APH. Hourly time frame, again, same thing, very overbought. And if we see a gap up open tomorrow and a quick, 2-3% to the upside, that's when we're going to be looking to see some people lock in some profit, in my opinion. Kron on the daily time frame, weekly time frame, nice equilibrium. So this is a beautiful setup to be watching, very similar to WEED, which already broke bullish, similar to Bitcoin forming on the weekly time frame right now. They're just all over the place, and I love it. So we've got our range right now. Looks like our lower high has been set. So the range right now is 706 support and 874 resistance. Still a pretty wide range, about 15-20%, and we are right in the middle of that range right now. So the daily time frame, we're looking for a higher low to form compared to the recent low of 707, and we are looking at hourly RSI down, not anywhere near oversold because we did get this bounce today, and it was a solid bounce, 785 all the way back up to 826. So that was about a 5% bounce. But we topped out, so we got some resistances here, 826, 821, and we're heading back down. I'm looking at support of $8 and $7.85. So again, if we do drop down to a lower low, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for a bullish entry opportunity compared to that recent low. Or if you don't want to play within this tightening range, which does get harder and harder the tighter it gets and the less volume we see, you can wait for this clear break on this daily time frame and play it then. ACB on the weekly chart is now the weakest name. So ACB and APH switch spots, in my opinion. So we had the same setup 2-3 weeks ago on APH and ACB on the weekly chart, and obviously that's not the case anymore. So we've got the low of the pullback, we've got the high of the bounce, we formed a higher low, and right here is where APH and ACB were pretty much the same. And now, of course, ACB APH is up here with the bull break, and we have weakness in ACB. We see a bearish reaction to the buyout news, and that's not surprising. That's the most common reaction. The company that is doing the buying goes down. So we're looking at support of 756. Is it a long-term bullish thing for the company? Could absolutely be the case, but again, it's just the market pricing in the, either the additional dilution to buy the company or the additional, resources that are going to be used up. So it all depends on the situation, but again, it is most common. Looking down 756, and if that breaks 675 is the next level, and bulls really want to hold 756, it's close to being tested. The daily chart, we can see if put the daily, I'll just put it up right now. Got rid of the volume by accident, but we're going to put up the 20-day moving average resistance, because this one's been really good, the middle Bollinger Band. And it's been rejecting the price time and time again. So now we got a live version of how to set your moving averages here. But look at these rejections on the daily chart time and time again the last couple of weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, and then we've got another 4 here. So we keep rejecting from this, and if we break this low of 756, then we are going to be looking for the bears to take back over temporarily. So ACB is now the lead bear out of these 4 on the weekly time frame. It has the most catching up to do to be in a bullish standpoint, and we already have a bull break on weed. We got a bull break on APH. Cron still in the middle of an equilibrium, watching for a potential bull break. In my opinion, the odds of a bull break are more likely than not, but not ready for an entry there yet. And we'll have to see if ACB can turn around this momentum. So I appreciate you watching. Let's actually look at buds now that I brought that up just real quick. So US tickers, there's money to be made here as well. And shout out to Lori, who pointed this out in the chat room today with plenty of time to spare to get in for some gains. But just another one where the weekly time frame had a very bullish move. We consolidated significantly, and now we got a little higher low and higher high. And why I like this name is because it got so tight. We had multiple weekly inside bars. We broke bullish only by a couple pennies, didn't get the follow through. Certainly got the follow through this week. And the daily time frame, you can see huge explosion today. And if we put the volume up there, it is going to show a big volume spike. So higher lows still in play. We broke resistance, and the next resistance level is up at 630. Again, this is one that's overbought, so you don't want to be chasing here on any kind of strong open tomorrow. This 4-hour RSI risk to reward is not favorable for entries here, but those that recognize bullish action and bullish volume throughout the trading day. And again, that's why a trading community is just so important, to be on the same team with so many people scanning this market, because there is no way that you can track all these US and Canadian MJ names and see these clear moves. So time and time again, just people pointing things out and helping each other out. And I love the fact that with stocks, we can all make money and be on the same team. So I hope you have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Nope, I lied. I'm not going to see you tomorrow with MJ, but I'll see you sometime soon.